Good morning, y'all. Happy Saturday. I just have a word for y'all. Might be a late morning for you, like it is for me, but either way it goes, I pray that it is a blessed Saturday. And I just want to give you this word today to just encourage you. Just to encourage you that God hears you, even when you think He's not listening. And so the title of this devotional today is God Listens to You. And I want you to ask yourself, has there ever been a time in your life that you've thought maybe God's not hearing me, or maybe He's not listening, or maybe this is too much for God? And I want to remind you today that it's not. He is listening. He is hearing. But just because you don't get what you want right away doesn't mean He's not working it out for your good. And so the verse of today is going to be Jeremiah 29:12, which reads, "You will call on me, and you will come and pray to me, and I will listen to you." And so we have all of these Bible stories where we can see that God listens. And we've even had circumstances in our life where we see that God has heard us and God has listened. But when we come in contact with a situation that seems too hard, or we come in contact with something that seems really rough, we sometimes get discouraged and think that God doesn't. So I just want to encourage you with this today. And so the devotional reads, Hannah asked for a baby and Solomon asked for wisdom. Moses appealed for mercy on behalf of Israel. Elijah called for fire to fall from the sky. Paul needed contentment and the strength to preserve. God listens to His people, and He listens to you. He's never too busy or too far away. He's always attentive and near. He works through your prayers to accomplish what is good and what is right. So talk to Him. You won't always hear or understand His response, but He will respond. Call on God's name. Lift up your heart. Put every problem, need, and concern into His hands. Turn every heartache, longing, and dream into prayers. The more faith-filled that you are, the more effective your request will be. The closer you're living with Him, the more powerful your prayer. Remember, nothing is too impossible for God. Come believing. And also, I just want to throw in there Matthew 21:22 it reads, whatever you ask for in prayer, believing, you shall receive. And so with that, we need to believe for God's will. We need to believe that for the plan that He has for us and not the plan that we have for us. Because sometimes as humans, what we want isn't really what we need. But when we pray for what we need, you will never fall short of what you need. And I just want to encourage you today that circumstance or that situation that you're not involving God in, or that you're scared of the outcome, or you don't know what He could do to help, include Him. Because He's going to work all things out for the good of those who love Him. And so if you include Him in it, you may not get what you want overnight, but He's going to work those things out for the good of you who loves Him. And so I just want to encourage you today that if you even have just an extra 10 or 15 minutes of your day to sit down in prayer and just include Him in that nitty-gritty, in that hard situation, or that part that has you sitting in unforgiveness and bitterness and anger, just to include Him into that little piece and just see what He can do. And again, I speak from experience when reading this, not just from reading it from a book, but from someone who the last couple weeks have been fairly rough, and I didn't want to include God right away because I was worried, and I did. I ran to Him because I knew that He listens, He hears, and there was nobody that was going to be able to help me the way that He could help me, and He is never too busy for me. And the moment that I included Him, and not only included Him, but obeyed into what He was telling me to do, the outpour of His faithfulness, the outpour of His blessings, the outpour of His unconditional love fell through. And I promise you, a lot of times we think we're waiting on God, but really God is just waiting on us. And so He's waiting on you today. Include Him in that little bit of piece of your life, of your circumstance, of your situation that you've been avoiding Him in. Include Him. Call out to Him. And I pray that you just encounter Him in a way that you never have before. And I pray that you have a blessed Saturday.